What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to 55 Fathoms. So, it's the end of the year, 2023, and so I'm going to do something I've never done before. I'm going to do top 10 best movies, and then I'm going to do top 10 worst movies. Please note, if your favourite film or a film I missed is not on there, please do not come at me in the comments. I do not see a lot of horror films, so sadly those will be left off. And my opinion is just my opinion. Number 10... we're going from worst to best for best movies, if that makes sense. Number 10, Blue Beetle. Now, I put Blue Beetle on here because Blue Beetle, I think, was a lovely little hit. It has really good characters, and it has some emotional depth to it. And the costume designing, that suit is amazing. The pacing's good as well. It's not a really big, long movie. There are Easter eggs scattered a bit throughout, but they don't really drive the story that much. It has comedy, and it just has a stellar cast. And so that's why Blue Beetle is the 10th best film for me of 2023. Number 9, I know a lot of you are going to disagree, Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom. What's going on, guys? It's me. I'm doing the editing, and I've realised I posted my Aquaman spoiler review recently. So if you want to see why I put it as number 9, check that video. So I'm going to take that chunk out to make the video shorter. Elemental. Now, Elemental was a really good film. Very emotional, in a good way. Very creative as well. How water comes into the city. How fire travels into the city. How air travels into the city. You know, those are just some key moments that I'm like, I've got to tell you those. The voice acting is great, and it's a great love story that Pixar do. This love story, it takes its time. And they don't just fall in love with each other, and I really respect that from Pixar. So I think Elemental is a stellar film. Number 7, The Flash. This film is how you do a DC film. I was totally hooked in. There are so many key Flash moments where he's running. You get enough Flash here, and you get enough Barry Allen. They don't compete with the two. You get great characters, and the art that Barry goes through in this film. I know they do it in the comics, but just to see it in film, amazing. Number 6, Barbie. It was really good. I loved all the characters and all the characterization. But the thing that pulls Barbie back for me, I feel as a dude, as a guy, I feel in Barbie, men are shown as bad. Men are pure evil. Why are men doing this? They are the villains. I think in Barbie they painted men as villains. Why didn't Barbie take that next step and make it an equal society? Matriarchal and patriarchal together. Barbie could have been that change. Now, it's so enjoyable, I can't lie. You know, jokes are funny. I do like how it ends with Barbie, you know, what am I? And I love all of that. Just the politics side of it, I think is holding it back for me. Number 5, the Super Mario Bros. Movie. I saw this film in theatres, I kid you not, 5 times. This film is so good enjoyability-wise. Jack Black's performance is stellar. The animation is so beautiful. The voice acting is amazing, although I do not like Seth Rogen as Donkey Kong, but everything else is great. Some films don't have to be these amazing cinematography movies. They can just be really enjoyable animated movies that push that genre forward. That's what Mario was. But number 4 on my top 10 list is Wonka. This was a really good surprise. I did not know Timothée Chalamet could do these fun roles. I did not know he could sing either. Songs, man, they're so catchy. Willy Wonka is pure magic. It's magical. That's what this film does. This film is magic. But that's why Wonka's number 4. Number 3, Across the Spider-Verse. This film, I think, is overrated. People are putting it at number 1. I'll tell you why I haven't got it at number 1. It's not the finished product. It's a part 1 to a 2-part story. It's the build-up. It's the setup. It definitely feels like setup, but it's the before the climax. You have an unfinished film here. Voice acting again is great. The animation is even better in this film. The Spot is a joke. You're telling me that this joke of a villain is going to try and kill Miles' dad. And the plot can get messy with multiverse, but it is still an amazing film. Number 2, Guardians 3. What a film Guardians 3 is. Rocket's the main character, and to have that scene in Guardians 1 be paid off. He's like, I didn't ask to get made. I didn't ask to get put back together over and over again. It's very frightening. Gut punching. I cried so many times in this film. The High Evolutionary. Listen, they're redeeming this guy. This guy's a dick. And you hate him. But this film, the music, the score, the characters were incredible. Number 1 though, Oppenheimer. Goodness me, Oppenheimer is great. It's a motion picture where you see these motion pictures and you're like, whoa, what a perfect film. I think this is a perfect film. Like last year with Top Gun Maverick, it is impeccable. I mean, the acting here, and when I say acting, a lot of these films people act, like all happy and quite energetic. The acting here, it's not even like they're acting, it's like they're the characters. Little expressions they make, little movements, little hand gestures, just the tiniest thing, and you're like, wow. I know I say with a lot of these films, I've said to them the scariness, the frighteningness. This is the most frightening film here, because it's real, and because it can happen again. 3 hours did not feel like 3 hours, let me tell you. Everyone has a purpose in this film, even Oppenheimer's students. Robert Downey Jr. is stellar. While I say that everyone in this film is not energetic, he's the most energetic character because he's a narcissist. And the ending of Oppenheimer is fantastic as well. Albert Einstein. I have no shame in saying this, okay? This is a perfect movie. The Meg 2 was a soulless action movie with CGI that made the sharks so massive that it lost its horror or scariness aspect to it because it would never happen in real life. There is nothing cool about this film. It's even worse than Meg 1, and just a waste of a shark film makes the shark genre go down. While I do believe Indy 5 is a good Indiana Jones film and a nice ending to the Indiana Jones franchise, this is not a good movie. The cinematography is not there, the script is not there, the villain is horrendous, and some of the side characters do get on my nerves. And it loses that Steven Spielberg magic. Fast X. This franchise should have ended 5 movies ago. Fast 9 was horrendous, and it isn't as bad, but it's still pretty bad. They killed John Cena, fake kill him, even though we know we're going to see him in Fast 11. They're so desperate to bring fans back to the franchise that they bring back The Rock, who said he'd never ever return. Jason Momoa is the only good thing about this film, but I'm getting a bit bored of that car formula, family, Dominic Toretto. I'm getting a bit bored of that, and it's nothing to sing about. Shazam 2 is everything wrong with superhero movies nowadays. Big final boss battle, big, beautiful, bright costumes, but no good story. Zachary Levi plays the teenager who's nearly 18 like a 5-year-old. Asher Angel is more serious when he becomes, his human self, his boy self. And Zachary Levi plays it like an idiot. He plays Shazam like a bumbling fool. The villains, I've never seen any weaker villains in all of my existence, okay? The family aspect was the main draw of this film, and the family lose their powers midway through the film. Shazam has hardly any arc, so you can tell I'm very annoyed by Shazam Fury of the Gods. Mutant Mayhem. I do not like this film. Mutant Mayhem, I did not think was good. There's a lot of sexual reference. And if you're marketing this towards kids, why would you say stuff about milking? I don't know why you'd make all your villains good. You have no villains now, apart from Shredder. I mean, if you're going to want to do a third one, who's going to be the villain of that? They're all friends now. April's useless. They make her character useless. And I just feel like the Turtles, hopefully number 2, does this. I just don't feel like they have distinct personalities. And the final boss battle is just a giant mindless zombie. We've seen that so many times. This was a disappointing film, basically. Peter Pan and Wendy. Now, granted, this isn't a theatrical release, but it's on Disney+, and it is a soulless remake of a story that is hashed out again and again and again. The only part I like in this film is when Peter Pan says to Captain Hook, after Captain Hook basically kills him, he says, "I'm not ready for this adventure yet, Captain Hook." Jude Law, he was great as Dumbledore. He wasn't good in Captain Marvel, and he's not good here, which is very disappointing because you need a good Captain Hook to drive the story forward. The scenery is beautiful, but it's not Netherlands. There's nothing distinct that you're like, oh my god, this is a magical place that I can never reach. The costumes look cheap. And again, we've seen this story before. There's nothing new added. Ant-Man and the Wasp, Quantumania. This came out on my birthday. And I was very excited for this film. But I think it's here on number 3 because it disappointed me so much. Kang is fantastic, okay? If this was a Kang movie, 10 out of 10. But it uses Kang and it sacrifices Ant-Man. Why the hell would Ant-Man, this small villain, go into, like, this big story? Ant-Man in this film is so egotistical with his book. He's not likable at the beginning, and then he becomes likable again. But he has no real arc. The Wasp is in it for 4 minutes. She has nothing to do here, and it's called Ant-Man and the Wasp. All of the other characters of Ant-Man are gone. Cassie is very unlikable, I feel. I don't think that's the actress, that's the script. And if they want me to be excited for her in Young Avengers, I think they need to make her a bit more likable. MODOK is so stupid and ridiculous. Like the Meg 2, it would never work in real days, so those stakes are gone as well. You can tell it's just CGI nonsense in the quantum realm. The fight scenes were kind of cool, though, if they were trying. Number 2, The Marvels. I do think this is worse than Quantumania. Much worse, I'll tell you why. Captain Marvel, she blows up the sun, and she feels guilty about that. We never see that. And then she makes this stupid excuse. She's like, I don't want to come back to Earth because I didn't want you seeing me like that. Girl, she's from Earth. Why would she care about that? And she's like, you're my Auntie Carol, I'm always gonna love you. And then they're like, cool, we're done with that plot line. Even though in MCU years, she hasn't seen her in decades. Monica Rambeau has no arc in this film, I kid you not. She has nothing to do here. Miss Marvel, the best thing about this film, I love her, that she puts all of her energy into this film. I love her. The film is I kid you not, it went by like that. The story was underdeveloped. The villain, I can't even remember her name. I don't feel emotion towards her. I don't even feel hatred. I just feel nothing. Nick Fury goes really stupid, where in Secret Wars he was really serious. He's now going, amen, amen. I'm like, why? And then they just move into Monica's house, her and Captain Marvel, and I'm like, that's someone's house. Number 1 is Wish. To celebrate 100 years of Disney with this film, I think is shocking on Disney's part. They wanted the animation to kind of look unfinished, and it looks dull, it looks bleak, it looks disastrous. Disney, don't do this to your film. Characters, King Mephisto, or whatever the flip he's called, he just turns to a villain like that. There's nothing there where you're like, okay, maybe he could stop. Oh, okay. He snaps. The characters, I can't even remember the main girl's name. I don't even know. The songs are not catchy. The characters are not there. The goat, the Olaf of the film, the talking goat. He's not memorable. He's not funny. I'm never gonna watch this film again. Nothing there that I'm like, dude, there's a lesson there that I could have learned. There's no lesson here to learn.